Mark Levin here. After any presidential election, I take time to reevaluate my own financial investments. That's why I continue to invest in gold for help with my financial protection. When it comes to gold, I only trust Advantage Gold. They're a top gold company in America, and that's who I turn to for my own gold purchases. Call them now at 800-900-8000. That's 800-900-8000 for a free gold investment kit. And see if you qualify for up to $1,000 in free silver. That's 800-900-8000. And tell them Mark Levin sent you. Performance may vary. You should always consult your financial and tax professional.
He's here. He's here. Now, broadcasting from the underground command post, deep in the bowels of a hidden bunker, somewhere under the brick and steel of a nondescript building, we've once again made contact with our leader, Mark Levin.
Mark Levin here. Our number, 877-381-3811, 877-381-3811. Mr. Producer, I'm laughing because I see Joni Ernst and Lindsey Graham are sort of changing their tunes. Have you noticed this? When it comes to Pete Hegseth. So the media, including Fox, are reporting MAGA backlash. It's the Levinites' backlash, which includes MAGA, of course. Right, Mr. Producer? Nobody was taking on Joni Ernst or Lindsey Graham. I did it on Blaze. I did it behind this microphone. I did it this weekend on Fox. There's millions and millions of you who've had enough of this stuff, and I certainly am among them. That's what's happening. The power of this format and the other platforms, because of you, we the people, is so significant that they have to ignore it. They have to ignore it in the Trump election. They have to ignore it in certain primary battles. They have to ignore it during the Tea Party. And so they continue to ignore it. But we don't care if they ignore it or not. I just point it out because it's hilarious. It's hilarious. I've been posting about Ernst. I've been posting about Lindsey Graham. I've called them both out. Both of them are well received on conservative TV shows by conservative hosts and so, but not by me. Not until they get their heads right on this. So the backlash, as they put it, that's we the people. And we talked about this, and we talked about we the people speaking out. We the people making it clear that Ernst and Graham and others are trying to sabotage Hegseth's nomination and making it clear that we want a roll call vote come hell or high water so we know who votes how. That's what we did. That's what we said. So I want to once again correctly give credit where credit is due to you. Thank you. People will never understand this program. They'll never understand our relationship, you and the audience and me, that goes back decades. They'll never comprehend it, or they'll ignore it, or they're jealous of it, or they have some other mental issues that I really cannot address for them. But you get the point. You get the point. MAGA backlash. Yes, that's us. We did it right here. They were writing off Hegseth. They started it on Kash Patel, and we hit the brakes right here. Starting on radio, then Blaze, then on Fox. That's what we did. We'll see what happens in the end. There's a long way to go, those hearings and all the rest of it, as you know. This Luigi Mangione. There is an entire cult now being built up celebrating this man. Celebrating him. I can only imagine his parents, his family are absolutely stunned and shocked that he would do this. Apparently he disappeared a few weeks ago. Apparently his mother told the police they couldn't find him and so forth. So he fell off the rocker. That's what he did. Could be 100 reasons why. Could be one reason. Could be no reason. I don't know. So I don't condemn his family. But I do condemn those who are now celebrating him on the left and attacking our healthcare system for the alleged maladies that he suffered. We have the greatest healthcare system on the face of the earth. It's imperfect. I don't know of anything that is perfect, any human being that's perfect, any institution that's perfect. But if you compare it to Canada and France and London, and Britain, and any other healthcare system on the face of the earth, it's superior by a massive magnitude. It's getting worse because of more government regulation, more government interference, and so we're seeing more and more of this socialist healthcare bleeding into our system and more aggressively under the Obama-Biden and Biden-Harris regimes. And the answer to the centralization of healthcare decisions and the centralization of insurance is decentralization and competition. But that's so old school, you understand. I mean, I went through hell 3.5 months ago. I'll be perfectly honest with you. In my injury. And I certainly haven't gone through what other people have gone through. People who have cancer and they're suffering as I speak. They lose limbs. They're suffering as I speak. Their brain injuries, horrendous back injuries. I had a 100% tear on my tendon on my right quad, and I was basically bedbound for 2 months. I mean, I'd try and get out and so forth, learning how to walk again. I'm not saying this to whine and complain. I'm saying pain is a terrible thing. And the funny thing about me in my case is none of these painkillers even work. People get hooked on Oxy. I took some Oxy. It did nothing, so I threw it away. Zero. And that's the nature of the beast. And it can do funny things to your head. But it doesn't lead you to kill people. To blame the CEO of a major, if not the largest, health insurance company on the face of the earth. I look at all the people they help save. I look at all the people where the quality of life has improved. When I go to pick up my medicines once a month or so at the pharmacy, they're such nice people. And they almost apologize for the price. Here I am, I'm picking up these medicines. Some of them are truly life-saving for your heart. In some cases, eyesight. People with diabetes. They're coming up with new drugs and so forth and so on. I just think we've gotten used to, in many instances, of this stuff just being there. We have one family member, wonderful. Is there a drug for this, or can't a doctor do that, or can't this, or can't that, or sometimes there's not an answer. There's just not. But a lot of times there are answers. There are answers. We need more doctors, but did you know that the federal government controls the number of doctors there are in our system? Do you know they control the number of medical students there are? Why? That's one way to bring down expenses and allow competition and the best to rise to the top. Why is that? The government controls almost half of all medical activity and expenses in this country. And so they control pricing, qualifications, and we can go on and on and on. The role is huge. The role is huge. And as prices go up, most of those in the medical profession, with a few exceptions, earn less and less. These are the working doctors, the working nurses. You think they're all millionaires? They're not. And they break their ass. And they not only go to college, they go to medical school, then they have to have fellowships and internships and residencies. It never ends. It never ends. And so the vast majority of these people are highly committed to the health care of you and me. I just don't think we necessarily appreciate it enough. And sometimes there are things that cannot be done. That's why I don't throw in with, big pharma and the big this and the big that, all this Marxist claptrap. The big problem is the big government. These medicines that come on board, most of them take 20 years. Most medical development, or I should say drug development, fails. They've spent $50, $60, $70 billion looking for some way to control or to stop Alzheimer's. They've essentially come up with nothing. All that money is spent. It has to come from somewhere. It's not going to come from a mom and pop laboratory any more than the electrical system we have in our country could have. The transportation system, the car, the train, steel. It takes a concentration of private wealth. Because the investments, the capital investments are so high. But see, by the time you explain something like this, people are rolling their eyes, the profits, the rip-offs, and so forth and so on. So it makes it very, very difficult. I can admit, government's not profitable. They lose hundreds of billions of dollars a year. It's not profitable. Hundreds of billions of dollars a year. And they waste hundreds of billions of dollars a year that can be actually put to good use. This kid or guy, it doesn't really matter why he did what he did. What he did was horrendous. He murdered in cold blood an innocent man. But this culture that is built up around this, that underlays the internet, that underlays the left, attacking our private entities. The answer is always more government. This is a dangerous thing. It's a very dangerous thing. He will be removed from Pennsylvania. He will wind up in New York, no matter how many days his lawyer tries to delay that. He has been charged with murder in New York. The Pennsylvania prosecutor says, okay, and when you're done, you bring him back here. We have gun charges. That's a smart play, just to make sure everything lands. And executing that CEO had a wife. He had 2 kids. And the idea that there's a whole culture out there that celebrates this, this is very sick. This is very bad. This is very dangerous. I'll be right back.
Mark Levin.
Did you see what the Federal Reserve did literally days after President Trump's victory? It lowered interest rates by 1/4. Do you know why it did that? It's worried about the economy. It's worried about the fact that jobs aren't being created. We're seeing all kinds of shifts in our portfolios, and it's important to stay aware. That's why I'm urging everyone to diversify and consider gold as one of your financial shields. Now, gold has weathered every kind of economic downturn throughout history. I want you to call Advantage Gold. They're the best of the best, folks. I've dealt with all of them. They're the best. They're my gold company. 1-800-900-8000. Get a free gold investment kit to see how you can get started with gold. I recommend Advantage Gold to anyone who's serious about protecting their wealth, and that's you. Call 800-900-8000 for your free gold investment kit, and you could even qualify for up to $1,000 in free silver. That's 800-900-8000. Call them now. Tell them Mark Levin sent you. You'll be very happy with them. Performance may vary. You should always consult your financial and tax professional. Headline, NBC News. Trump's DOJ secretly obtained phone and text message logs of 43 congressional staffers and 2 members of Congress. The Justice Department's investigations and the leaks of classified information were far broader than previously known, according to the department's internal watchdog. Seeking to investigate leaks of classified information, the Trump Justice Department in 2017 and 2018 secretly obtained phone and text message logs of 43 congressional staffers, 2 members of Congress, in a far broader probe than previously known. The report by Inspector General Michael Horowitz found that the DOJ didn't act with political motives, but failed to take sufficient account of constitutional separation of powers by seizing communications records of staffers and lawmakers, making them subjects of a criminal investigation, only because they had lawful access to state secrets through their jobs. Keep listening. Prosecutors obtained the records using subpoenas and other legal processes to third-party providers, including Apple, and attached gag orders to prevent the companies from notifying the customers. The fact of the seizures had previously been reported, but the IG revealed new details about the broad scope of the effort. Separately, the IG report released Tuesday found the Justice Department violated its own policies in the way it secretly obtained phone and text records from reporters in the same leak investigations, which related to the FBI's probe of suspected Trump campaign coordination with Russia. The seizures of the records from reporters from the New York Times, the Post, CNN had previously been reported, and the Biden Justice Department stiffened its guidelines on issue, which previously had been updated in 2014 and 2015 after earlier revelations of secret seizures of news media records under Obama. They don't mention his name. Although then Attorney General Bill Barr personally approved the news media subpoenas in 2020, a committee that had been sent up to review any such moves was not consulted, a policy required. The report said Barr did not cooperate with the IG inquiry. We were troubled that these failures occurred only a few years after this overhaul, the Inspector General said. And it goes on. Now, as I read this, with all the titles, Mr. Producer, Trump's DOJ secretly obtained phone and text records. Trump's this, Trump that, Trump this. Nothing in any of the reports says Trump knew anything. Nothing in any of the reports says Trump ordered anything. I read somewhere where Bill Barr said he didn't know the full extent of this. Doesn't this prove Trump's point? Even there he is as president. The FBI, certainly at the senior levels, and these federal prosecutors at the Department of Justice, many of them have gone rogue. This has been Trump's point. Just remember, the FBI came after him when he was president of the United States. So these titles, Trump's DOJ, Trump's DOJ, Trump's DOJ, he's the one that talks about these departments and these agencies and that they need to be reformed. I'll be right back with more. The markets are volatile. They're shooting up wildly only to drop without warning. The Fed just cut rates yet again, this time by a quarter point. Why? Because the Federal Reserve is not confident the economy is strong. In fact, last month only 12,000 jobs were created, all of them in the government. That's why I'm telling you again, diversification is crucially important. And diversification with gold is what I do. And the company I use, and I've used many, the best one is Advantage Gold. Call them now at 800-900-8000 for a free gold investment kit to see how gold gold can help you diversify your investments and take advantage now. Now, gold has been helping to protect and grow wealth for people for thousands of years. And in these times, it can be more crucial than ever. When it comes to gold, I trust Advantage Gold. They're one of the top gold companies in America. They're who I turn to when I purchase gold. Call them now, 800-900-8000. Call 800-900-8000 now for a free gold investment kit to see how gold can help you with your investment portfolio, a.k.a. your bank accounts, your paycheck. And when you do, you could qualify for $1,000 in free silver. That's 800-900-8000. Folks, don't wait. Call them now, 800-900-8000, and tell them Mark Levin sent you. Performance may vary. You should always consult your financial and tax professional.
Mark Levin, radio's principled patriot. Call in now at 877-381-3811.
Now, let me read you this story, which is written a little differently from Politico. Virtually every media headline says Trump's Department of Justice secretly obtained records of lawmakers and journalists. NBC, CNN, MSLSD, Politico. Watchdog faults DOJ in Trump's first term for secretly obtaining records of lawmakers and journalists. During leak investigation, Trump's DOJ obtained phone and email records of 2 House Democrats and dozens of congressional staffers, both parties, by the way, including Kash Patel. Now listen. Justice Department during Trump's first term failed to comply with its own procedures when it sought journalists' phone and email records in leak investigations. According to the Inspector General in a report released today, the department never conducted any high-level review as it swept up the records of 43 congressional staffers, 2 Democratic House members. DOJ Inspector General Michael Horowitz said he also found, quote, no evidence that federal prosecutors got express approval from then Attorney General Bill Barr, so Barr didn't know about it, or told federal courts that the subpoenas were for records of lawmakers and their aides, despite the potential for the probe. So you have rogue prosecutors. It doesn't get to the level of the Attorney General. It certainly was never brought to Donald Trump. But see how they play it? Donald Trump says the DOJ, the FBI, my words, not his, they need to be fumigated. They're out of control. They've gone rogue. And now here's evidence that they're out of control and they've gone rogue. And now it's Donald Trump's Department of Justice and FBI, which they all know are career. Their civil service, their union. In other words, untouchable. Obtaining the records of lawmakers and their staff during criminal investigation risks chilling Congress's ability to conduct oversight of the executive branch, wrote Horowitz. Well, of course, he's right. Bill Barr told Politico in 2021 he did not know the Department of Justice sought any lawmakers' records in the leaked probes, which involved disclosures about the FBI's investigation in a 2016 Trump campaign aide Carter Page and ties between that campaign and Russia. Barr declined to be interviewed by Horowitz's team, but the report says investigators found no indication the issuance of subpoenas for lawmakers or their aides was raised to Bill Barr's level. He didn't know about it. Indeed, the report concludes that at the time, there was no policy in place to require added review of subpoenas and similar demands for information about lawmakers and their staff. The Inspector General launched the review in June 2021 after Joe Biden took office, and press reports revealed that investigators probing leaks of classified information obtained court orders to access phone records of 2 prominent Democrats. You know who they were? Adam Schiff and Eric Swalwell. Horowitz said the department's decision to include Schiff and Swalwell in the investigation was based on a claim from a Democratic staffer who suspected them of having a role in a leak investigation. So a Democrat staffer leaks on the Democrat members, Swalwell and Schiff. There's an investigation that takes place, a criminal investigation, and it doesn't reach the level of Bill Barr, who didn't approve it, didn't even know about it. But it's Donald Trump's Department of Justice, you understand. Horowitz's report, which does not identify the lawmakers by name, did not turn up indications that the 2 outspoken Trump critics were target because of their political affiliation. Quote, we did not find any evidence of retaliatory or political motivation by the career prosecutors who issued the compulsory process. How? He looked for political motivations. He found none. The prosecutors were career prosecutors. The tip came from a Democrat staffer who suggested that Swalwell and Schiff might be leaking. But don't you understand? It's Donald Trump's Department of Justice. And Donald Trump, for the third time, I underscore, has said that these are corrupt, rogue entities that need to be cleaned out. Hence, he nominates Kash Patel, one of the 43 congressional staffers whose phone or email logs were pursued by these investigators. Now, is this the way you write a story? Is this the way you make headlines? Now, I read to you the NBC News story. You didn't get 90% of this. You didn't get 90% of this. The Justice Department during the Trump administration also faced scrutiny for efforts to access the email account of then House Intelligence Committee aide Kash Patel. Wow. Last time I checked, he worked for Devin Nunes, is a conservative, a Republican, and a Trump supporter. So his records were accessed. Did Donald Trump order that too? No. Did Bill Barr order that too? No. No. The review found that 21 of them, that's staffers, were affiliated with Democrats, 20 with Republicans, 2 were nonpartisan of all the staffers. The Justice Department did not seek or obtain the content of their communications, but only details, such as which phone numbers or email accounts they were in contact with. So they didn't get the substantive recordings or information on the calls themselves. Around the same time the existence of subpoenas aimed at lawmakers was reported, it emerged prosecutors also sought phone or email records for journalists at the Compost, at the Slimes, at the Constipated News Network as part of the leak investigations. Well, that's old school for them. As I said, they did it under Obama. Barr did approve the subpoenas aimed at reporters, but the department never convened an internal panel that a policy in place at the time said should examine all such requests. Okay, did Barr break the law? No. It's not a matter of a panel, it's a matter of the law. Biden called the tactic aimed at reporters simply wrong and vowed it would not continue under his administration, but it did continue. It started, as a matter of fact, under Obama, Biden. The most anti-press administration since Woodrow Wilson, and yet the media still slobbered all over them. The incoming Trump administration is expected to roll back the protections Garland adopted, so it's Trump's fault. Garland, who abused his office like no attorney general in my lifetime, that's for sure, has these wonderful protections in place, you know, and it looks like Trump's going to roll them back, they say. So the story is not as the headline suggests. Watchdog faults DOJ in Trump's first term. No, the headline should be rogue prosecutors. Rogue prosecutors obtain records of lawmakers and journalists without the knowledge of the Attorney General or the President of the United States. In the case of the journalists, in the case of the Attorney General, he apparently approved some aspect of it, which was legal. But in case of the lawmakers and the staffers, nothing. He had no role in it. Of course, Donald Trump had no role in any of it. But it's Donald Trump's Department of Justice. Unfortunately, it's not. That's why they don't want Pam Bondi there. That's why they don't want Kash Patel there. Look at the idiocy, the insanity of this kind of reporting. On the one hand, Trump, Patel, Bondi, they all say these entities need to be reformed. They're out of control. They target political opponents. Donald Trump was the main victim. And then the media come to the defense of the sitting FBI director. The sitting FBI director. They came to the defense of the past FBI director, Mueller. They come to the defense of the career Department of Justice prosecutors. But they're the ones who did all this. Not Trump. Not Kash Patel. Not Pam Bondi, who want to go in there, look at this, fix it, stop it. So I would ask the media, what the hell are you proposing here? What the hell are you reporting here? First of all, stop twisting the headlines. Stop twisting the headlines. You got to throw Trump's name in there with secretly obtaining records. We told you. We told you democracy's at threat. We told you he's a dictator. We told you. No. It has nothing to do with any of it. He told you there's a problem at the FBI. He told you there's a problem with federal investigators. He told you in the media. How sick. Truly nuts. Now, there's a lot to go over today. I'm going to get to as much as I can because I think it's all quite important. Alvin Bragg. Bragg lays out alternatives to dismissing Trump's hush money conviction. This is in The Hill. It's in all these papers because today he is a panoply, a cornucopia, a smorgasbord, a buffet of suggestions other than dropping the case. That is the sense. All kinds of things can be done. Once again, I will make a public statement to a group of lawyers who are actually quite good. President Trump's lawyers. We've had Todd on this program, among others. We'll see what Mershon does, but are you going to take my advice at some point or not? Which is, get the hell out of the New York gulag, get it to the U.S. Supreme Court. I think that would serve your client a lot better. We'll see how Mershon rules, but you're going to keep running back and forth to court because Alvin Bragg has a new idea? Alvin Bragg is a Stalinist. That was a Stalinist show trial. The man you keep asking for relief from, the acting state judge, is a Stalinist judge. They both did this. You keep appealing to the same person, hoping for the best. Maybe you'll get it finally. But in my view, it's already taken too long. We'll be right back.
Mark Levin.
Did you see what the Federal Reserve did literally days after President Trump's victory? It lowered interest rates by a quarter. Do you know why it did that? It's worried about the economy. It's worried about the fact that jobs aren't being created. We're seeing all kinds of shifts in our portfolios, and it's important to stay aware. That's why I'm urging everyone to diversify and consider gold as one of your financial shields. Now, gold has weathered every kind of economic downturn throughout history. I want you to call Advantage Gold. They're the best of the best, folks. I've dealt with all of them. They're the best. They're my gold company. 1-800-900-8000. Get a free gold investment kit to see how you can get started with gold. I recommend Advantage Gold to anyone who's serious about protecting their wealth, and that's you. Call 800-900-8000 for your free gold investment kit, and you can even qualify for up to $1,000 in free silver. That's 800-900-8000. Call them now. Tell them Mark Levin sent you. You'll be very happy with them. Performance may vary. You should always consult your financial and tax professional. I don't care what Bragg proposes at all. Bragg is a rogue, grotesque individual. In this case, needs to get out of that jurisdiction now. And if they won't do it voluntarily, there is a way to do it. I'm not even charging the president or his campaign or anybody, giving free advice. I know this stuff like the back of my hand. I live it, I breathe it, I eat it. But, I don't know. It's strange to me. Get the damn case out of there if Mershon won't dismiss it. We're going to appeal on the New York Appellate Court. That's enough. That's enough. I'm going to prove to you that for the media, and for a growing percentage of the culture, death to the Jews is ho-hum. It's been accepted. Let me ask you a question. If there was a home outside of Washington, D.C., let's say in Fairfax, Virginia, and there were two leaders of a white supremacist movement, two neo-Nazis, and they were talking about free speech and the right to protest, and they were building a following. And there was an investigation, and they went into their home, and they found that in the home of two of these leaders, there were guns, ammunition, terrorist flags, grenades, all kinds of things. Wouldn't that get a headline on cable TV or network news, Mr. Producer? Well, I'm reading here on the Free Beacon something that I haven't seen anywhere else. Certainly not on cable TV, any of it. Certainly not in network TV, any of it. Death to the Jews inside the home of two students for justice in Palestine leaders. I warned you about this group. At George Mason University, right outside of Washington, D.C., police find guns, ammunition, and terrorist flags. And I suspect there's scores of houses like this. When police searched the home of two students for justice in Palestine leaders, a pair of sisters at George Mason University, their allies painted a sympathetic picture. The students were targeted, according to the Hamas Front Group, Council on American Islamic Relations, CARE, for engaging in anti-genocide events on campus, quote unquote. The Intercept reported that police found antique firearms registered to the student's brother and brought gun-related charges as a result of his family's pro-Palestine activism. Excluded from those descriptions was the crime the sisters are suspected of committing. A group of student radicals defaced George Mason Student Center in August, spray-painting messages that warned of a, quote, student intifada, unquote. In its coverage of the incident, the Washington Post wrote that, quote, activists spray-painted words on Wilkins Plaza outside the university's Johnson Center, unquote. Those activists caused thousands of dollars in damage, a felony in the state of Virginia, and police suspect the Students for Justice of Palestine leaders, sisters Jenna and Nora Chada, led the group of vandals. Weeks after the incidents in November, a county judge granted a warrant, which is under seal until February, according to a Fairfax County Court representative, allowing police to seize electronics from the Chana family home. And when officers entered the home, they found firearms, modern weapons, not antiques, as well as scores of ammunition, foreign passports, all of which sat in plain view according to court documents obtained by the Free Beacon and sources familiar with the investigation. They found pro-terror materials, including Hamas and Hezbollah flags, signs they read "Death to America, Death to Jews," according to court documents. Have you heard this anywhere? I'm not done. It's nowhere. I'll be right back. This segment of the podcast is exclusively sponsored by Pure Talk. Pure Talk offers great coverage and can save your family money on your wireless bill every single month. Go to puretalk.com to find the plan that's right for you. Thank you again for listening, and thank you so much for this sponsorship, Pure Talk.
He's here. He's here. Now, broadcasting from the underground command post, deep in the bowels of a hidden bunker, somewhere under the brick and steel of a nondescript building, we've once again made contact with our leader, Mark Levin.
Hello, America. We're back. Mark Levin here. I want to continue with this story about this house near George Mason University, just outside of Washington, D.C. CARE, you know how they were founded, Hamas Front Group. The fact that it remains in existence is shocking to me, has denounced the draconian measures used by law enforcement authorities to silence or intimidate those who seek to end the Israeli genocide in Gaza. Now look at the weapons they found in this place. The ongoing ordeal, writes the Free Beacon. Local police are investigating the incident with the FBI's assistance. Sources familiar with the investigation tell the Free Beacon. Reflects CARE and Students for Justice in Palestine's status as driving forces behind the anti-Semitic activism that has plagued college campuses in the wake of Hamas's October 7 terror attack on Israel. It also reflects the radical pro-terror views that have become synonymous with that activism. So where's the rest of the media? Why am I the only one doing this in the Free Beacon? Both Jenna and Noor Hanna have been deeply involved with George Mason's SJP, Students for Justice in Palestine chapter. Jenna, a master's student, studying civil infrastructure engineering, served as the chapter's president last school year. Noor, an undergraduate student, took over as co-president this year. Their brother, Muhammad, is a recent George Mason graduate. Wow, they're all in the same school, who served in the Springfield, Virginia Volunteer Fire Department as recently as September 30. The three siblings hail from the area and live together in their parents' home. George Mason did not respond to requests for comment. The FBI declined to comment. A spokeswoman for the Fairfax County Commonwealth Attorney's Office, Laura Birnbaum, confirmed the officers found guns, ammunition, pro-terror materials during their search and declined to comment further. The Hanna family attorney Abdal Rahman Hamad did not respond to a request for comment. In a statement provided to the Compost, Hamad said the case marks yet another example of the police state targeting American Muslims without cause. Oh, yeah, that's another example. An About section on his Lincoln page states, quote, I deny, defy, and defeat Zionists, anti-Semites, and white supremacists. Under Jenna and Noor's leadership, George Mason's chapter of the SJP has endorsed Hamas and its quote-unquote martyrs. In a statement issued 2 days after the October 7 attack, the group lauded the, quote, liberation of the Palestinian people and endorsed the right to resist for Palestinians living under the Zionist occupation. Oh, I thought they lived under Hamas's occupation. It said Palestinian resistance fighters, the ones that rape and mutilate, mobilized into surrounding occupied areas on October 7, reclaiming land and settlements considered illegal in the name of decolonization. So much bullcrap. Decolonization entails the struggle for liberation of a colonized people from the grasp of their colonizer. The Gaza Strip has always belonged to the Jewish people in Israel. This whole thing is a fraud and a phony. The group went on to hold campus protests, rallying support for, quote, Palestinian martyrs and the resistance. On the one-year anniversary on October 7, Gina Hanna posted a photo of smiling Gazans on top of an Israeli military vehicle. 1 year ago, we witnessed, she said, Gaza break through the prison doors. No cage will ever be strong enough to hold the colonized, she wrote in a caption. We have tasted liberation and will free ourselves in this lifetime. Glory to every single martyr in Gaza, Lebanon, Yemen. May the earth burn for Gaza, and may we avenge our martyrs every single day. Boy, if this doesn't sound like terrorist propaganda, then what does? Right here in America. And I guarantee you this is going on everywhere. Months earlier, in a pair of Instagram posts, she wrote that her family comes from Taitaba in North Palestine and expressed a willingness to die in my homeland. 76 years have passed since the forced expulsion of my family, she said. 76 years of resistance to occupation. 76 years of steadfastness and determination, she says, from the United States. They and their associates appear to have leveled more aggressive threats toward their school through a pseudonym, using an Instagram account, GMU Intifada. And the account posted a video of the August 30 vandalism the sisters are suspected of leading. I don't have time to read the whole thing. Shortly thereafter, George Mason police offered a $2,000 reward for information leading to successful arrests. Persons involved in the criminal vandalism. The account has since been deleted from Instagram. And in the wake of the November search of the Hanna home, George Mason slapped its SJP chapter with an interim suspension. According to a coalition of student groups affiliated with the chapter, university police served Jenna and Noor Hanna with criminal trespass notices, barring them from campus for 4 years, according to The Intercept. CARE has called on George Mason to rescind those disciplinary measures. Like I said, why isn't CARE banned in this country, considering its founding and who's involved in it? University leaders see the case differently, with George Mason President Gregory Washington calling the school's actions justified based on the information available in the November 20 Faculty Senate meeting. So do state and local law enforcement officials. For us at the state and local level, we're concerned, one official told Free Beacon, noting CARE's ties to illicit fundraising efforts for Hamas, as well as recent revelations that Iran has bankrolled anti-Israel campus protests in the United States. The official said it clearly shows the connection between potential radicalism. My God, they found all these arms, long rifles, ammunition, pro-terrorist propaganda, Hamas and Hezbollah flags, the language of the terrorists. But don't worry, no. This is just anti-Muslim. But you know what? All Muslims don't agree with these people. How many more houses are there like this, ladies and gentlemen, in our country, around college campuses? And why are our media not reporting this properly, if at all? If it was any other minority group that was targeted like this, you'd never hear the end of it, would you? There'd be story after story. There'd be in-depth reporting. But not now. Why is that? We know why it is. In a frightening way, this is becoming acceptable. Acceptable. And Joe Biden's taking credit for the fact that Iran is weakened, when all the credit goes to Netanyahu, who all but destroyed Hamas, despite the fact that Biden tried to stop him. Who all but destroyed Hezbollah, despite the fact that Biden tried to stop him. I could pull all the newspaper articles, all the quotes, on the record, off the record, attacking Netanyahu for attacking the enemy, for expanding the war. He just won't stop. He won't stop militarily. He won't sue for peace. How he weakened Iran, but I want you to hear the latest. This is going to knock your socks off. Also from the Free Beacon, our friend Adam Credo, also breaking today. Tell me if you've heard this from anywhere else. Days after Trump's victory, Biden-Harris administration granted Iran, you ready for this? $10 billion in sanctions relief. Congressional notice shows. Right after they lose the election, they grant Iran another $10 billion in relief, while they're boycotting, withholding weapons that Israel has purchased and Congress has approved. And then the SOB goes out there and claims that he's the one that has weakened Iran. The Biden-Harris administration waived sanctions on Iran 3 days after the November election, providing the regime access to upward of $10 billion in once-frozen funds, according to a copy of the non-public order transmitted to Congress and reviewed by the Washington Free Beacon. So they don't even make this public because they don't want you to know about it. That's the state of our government. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken, this guy is a traitor. He's a traitor, damn it, he's a traitor. Determined on November 8th that, quote, it is in the national security interest of the United States, unquote, to waive mandatory economic sanctions that bar Iraq from transferring upward of $10 billion to Iran in electricity import fees. The Biden-Harris regime has renewed the waiver repeatedly over the objections of congressional Republicans who warned that cash helped fuel terrorism in Iran's war against Israel. In one case, the administration signed off on the sanctions relief 1 month after Hamas's October 7th slaughter of Jews in Israel. The most recent iteration of the waiver lifts sanctions for 4 months, at which time the incoming Trump administration will have to decide whether Tehran will continue receiving relief. I have a feeling I know what they'll do. Though the first Trump administration did greenlight the same waiver, causing tension with some congressional Republicans, it narrowly tailored the waiver to restrict Iranian access to cash. The Biden State Department tweaked the waiver last year to allow Tehran to convert the funds from Iraqi dinars to euros, then hold those euros in bank accounts based in Oman. Access to a widely traded currency like the euro enables Iran to more easily spend the cash in international markets. Under the Trump administration, Iran had to keep the cash in an escrow account in Baghdad, making it more difficult to access The Biden regime's State Department maintains Iran is only permitted to use the funds for humanitarian needs because we all know the Islamo-Nazis in Tehran, if they're anything, they're humanitarians, including medicines and other supplies. Republican critics argue the money is fungible, meaning that Tehran will have an easier time. Tell me, do we have accountants in Tehran or something from the State Department? Do we? The same government in the United States that loses $250 billion a year? Oh, I'm sorry, fraud, waste, I don't know. We have a handle on what Hamas and Hezbollah and the Houthis and their masters in Iran are doing with the money. Is this a joke? President-elect Trump, who nearly bankrupted Iran during his first term in office, has pledged to restart his maximum pressure campaign on Tehran. Richard Goldberg, great guy, former White House national security member who worked in Iran portfolio, welcomed the pledge. He said Joe Biden and his team are taking credit for bringing down Assad just a few weeks after renewing a sanctions waiver to give Iran access to billions of dollars. This policy of appeasement, I would argue it's worse, funding the enemy, needs to end on January 20, and locking down these accounts so Iran can't get access should be priority number one. Iran was not weakened by Biden. America was weakened by Biden. He's got to get his country straight. Let me repeat for the slow of hearing. Iran wasn't weakened by Biden. America was weakened by Biden. That's a fact. Iran is weak because of Netanyahu and Israel. They hate Netanyahu, but Netanyahu did it. His party did it. His government did it. The Israelis did it. Not this jerk in the White House and his special pleaders at the State Department. No way. And they're still withholding weapons from Israel while they're lifting sanctions, waiving sanctions on Iran. Syria fell because Hezbollah was all but defeated. Hezbollah and Iran were propping up Syria along with Russia. You've got Turkey, Erdogan, that SOB, that good for nothing. And he's now told the terrorists in Syria to turn their sights on the Kurds. On the Kurds. Our allies, the Kurds, who fought with us against the Iraqis. Saddam Hussein. Turkey wants to wipe them out off the face of the earth. Ethnic cleansing from beginning to end. Just like ISIS, who seek to do the same thing. So I will add a footnote to my friends that say we shouldn't get involved in Syria. I agree with that 100%. But they're wrong if they don't think we should at least funnel weapons, funnel arms to the Kurds to defend themselves, because they helped defend our troops. And you don't turn your back on people like that. You don't have to send in the Marines. You don't have to send in any infantry. You don't have to do any of it. One of the genius policies of Reagan was doing exactly that, whether it was Angola, whether it was Afghanistan, whether it was Nicaragua, whether it was any of these places. We armed the freedom fighters. We armed the real resistance in these countries to great effect. To great effect. And that's what we need to do. The Kurds are our brothers in arms. They need to be supported. They need to be supported. And Erdogan over in Turkey, we got to figure out what to do with that son of a gun. That bastard. Because he's a jihadist. He took over Turkey in a phony election. He blew out the top generals, the top police officers. He claimed a coup. He rounded up 20,000 people, most of whom haven't been seen again. He supports Hamas. He supports Al-Qaeda. He supports ISIS. He supports all these entities. And he's in NATO. And he's in NATO. So we got to figure out what kind of deal, what kind of relationship we have with this clown. And the Israelis have taken the occasion because, as I say, this guy, Netanyahu, is a genius. That's why they hate him in this country. That's why they hate him in Israel. That is the left. The left hates him. The Islamists hate him. The jihadists hate him. The Marxists hate him. The anti-Semites hate him. All the good people love him. He's taken the occasion to destroy the Syrian Navy, to destroy the Syrian Air Force, to destroy Syrian air bases, to destroy Syrian military locations, to destroy Syrian infrastructure that can be used for their military, to destroy as much as they can find poison gas that Syria has stored. Israel is blowing their military installations to Kingdom Come because they know that ISIS, Al-Qaeda, Turkey, the rest of these subhuman leaders and terrorists in this world will take advantage of them. Is Joe Biden taking credit for that too? No, he's probably threatening Israel as I speak. I'll be right back.
Mark Levin.
You know, they say free, but what they really mean is see the fine print. There's no shortage of ads from the big wireless carriers offering the latest iPhone for free. But look deeper. You'll realize to qualify, you need to trade in your phone valued at $1,000. You need to be on the $100 a month unlimited plan and pay the $35 activation fee. That's a lot of money for a free phone, don't you think? Well, don't fall for it. Pure Talk, my cell phone company, has a better option. Get a brand new iPhone 14, which has all the bells and whistles you need, plus get unlimited talk, text, 15 gigs of data, and mobile hotspot, all for $50 a month. How about that? Half the price of the big guys, and you get a new iPhone powered by America's most dependable 5G network. Do this. Go to puretalk.com/Levin today. Switching is easy. Plus, when you go to puretalk.com/Levin, you'll get an additional 50% off your first month. Pure Talk, America's wireless company.
You know, one of the things that's going on here is they just turned off my... I'm going to go vomit. I lost the electricity here. But anyway.
So the monitor drops off with the words he's supposed to burp up and regurgitate. They just turned off my... That would be Biden, our president, by the way, where his own staff is leaking on him and saying, we don't even know where the guy is. He doesn't even show up. The United States of America, as if we don't need a president for the last few months of his reign, if you will. It's been like this now for 4 years, but it's gotten worse and worse and worse as his dementia kicks into high gear. It's really something. Play it again, Mr. Producer, for those who may have missed it.
You know, one of the things that's going on here is they just turned off my... I'm going to go vomit. I lost the electricity here. But anyway.
Turn off his... Now, we will add that to our precious, invaluable collection of mumblers. And when we come back, if we're fortunate enough, I'll let you hear them again. He's prominent, of course. We'll be right back. You know, they say free, but what they really mean is see the fine print. There's no shortage of ads from the big wireless carriers offering the latest iPhone for free. But look deeper. You'll realize to qualify, you need to trade in your phone valued at $1,000. You need to be on the $100 a month unlimited plan and pay the $35 activation fee. That's a lot of money for a free phone, don't you think? Well, don't fall for it. Pure Talk, my cell phone company, has a better option. Get a brand new iPhone 14, which has all the bells and whistles you need, plus get unlimited talk, text, 15 gigs of data, and mobile hotspot, all for $50 a month. How about that? Half the price of the big guys, and you get a new iPhone powered by America's most dependable 5G network. Do this. Go to puretalk.com/Levin today. Switching is easy. Plus, when you go to puretalk.com/Levin, you'll get an additional 50% off your first month. Pure Talk, America's wireless company.
This is where liberalism ends and liberty begins. The Mark Levin Show at 877-381-3811.
You know, Joe Biden actually is one in a long line of incoherent, gibberish fluent buffoons and reprobates in the Democrat Party and in their entertainment world. And we keep track of this. Now, I could do something most hosts would do. It'd be pretty cheap. Just give you a track of clips and loop them with Joe Biden. That would be like going to a Well, I better not say it on radio. People will be upset. It's going to say mental institution, Mr. Producer, with a recording device, but I won't say that. No, I won't say it. But take a listen. You've spent decades collecting this, like people collect stamps or coins. In the case of Democrats, they collect debt. Go.
What are the kennegadefanning, the ghost track?
They have an
it costs they gave them
with the withdraw, bringing U.S. home troops from home,
and the
you need somebody.
Wait, so finally,
budget. But resist, we must, and we will much about that be committed.
I'm a warrior.
That it was.
I mean, they said that.
Look, the was it him?
Why? I didn't. If we,
You can walk and chew gum.
We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by you know the thing. True international effort to pressure.
Been impeached for inciting the insurrection.
Donald John Trump incited the insurrection.
And what am I doing here? I'm going to lose track here. And
to confidence in the integrity.
private economic.
No, don't let him. You know how much I'm going to do with the deficit this year?
Bridges and those bullets that are collapsing.
And, it is
Happy birthday, dear Levin.
Part of I introduce some of you to some of the leadership of
Katanji drowned Jackson.
You docs are good. If there's any angels in heaven, they're all nurses, male and female. God save the Queen, man.
President Trump incited an erection.
Mess with the men in America. Beer brewed here. It is used to make the brew beer in this refinery. Oh, Earth Rider, thanks for the Great Lakes. I wonder why he's trying.
Participated in an erection.
Say hello to oyster bunnies. Come on up, bunny. He calls the erectionists who stormed.
After I signed the Pact Act.
protect our assault, our bill.
Going on here? They just turned off my. I'm going to go vomit.
What is it with Democrats and erections, Mr. Producer? Actually, don't get me started on that. That could be a very ugly thing, in fact. But here he is, Joe Robinette Biden, at the Brookings Institute today. I would tell his staff he was at the Brookings Institute today. Cut 4, go.
And one more fact as I prepare to leave office.
Yes, yes.
You know, there is no country on earth better positioned to lead the world in the years to come than America. Think about what stunned me. And again, I'm going to say something outrageous. I have as much experience in foreign policy as any president in history of the United States has had. The chairman of the Foreign Relations Committee. Anyway, I spent a lot of time. I know all of them. Well, the decisions we make over the next 4 years have been transformative to the nation. But I tell you what stunned me, and it's not, I'm not being a hyper-American here.
You're not joking.
I can't name a single country in the world that doesn't think. Put it this way.
Not a
joke. If we're not leading the world, who does? Not a joke. I'm not being wise guy. If we do not lead the world, what nation leads the world? Who pulls Europe together? Who tries to pull the Middle East together? How do we do the Indian Ocean? What do we do in Africa? We, the United States, lead the world.
Can I ask a stupid question, Mr. Producer? What are we doing in the Indian Ocean? Are we leading in the Indian Ocean? Look, you dumb moron, you reprobate of half a century in Washington, D.C. You may have been involved in foreign policy, but you didn't learn a damn thing. Your low IQ, your 2 brain tissues, they never worked. They never worked. You blew up the Middle East. You blew up Europe. You blew up our Justice Department and our federal law enforcement. You blew up the border. You jerk. Yes, America's the greatest country on the face of the earth. No thanks to you. No thanks to you, you moron. Good Lord. The Brookings Institute. That's a think tank, don't you know? Think tank. Got to keep moving. We've got to keep moving. Little Dick Durbin of Illinois. Little Dick Durbin. He let the cat out of the bag, or the illegal immigration issue, to the forefront. We've known this. Others have said it, but he said it abundantly clearly today at a Senate hearing over mass deportation. So we've had mass importation. For what reason exactly? Because the Democrat Party wanted it. Wants to be a monopoly party. Wants to bring Democrats into the country, future Democrats into the country. Wants to do it through quote-unquote birthright citizenship, quote-unquote chain migration. Wants to overwhelm the system, overwhelm the Republicans, overwhelm the citizenship. That is the citizenry. And there they are, off to the races. They can't lose. One-party domination. And we're California, and after that, we're one of these fascistic regimes. That's it. Case closed. Next empire. Here he is, little Dick Durbin. Cut 5, go.
In addition to weakening our military, it would cost hundreds of billions of dollars to deport every undocumented immigrant in our country. It would damage our economy and separate American families. Instead, we should focus on deporting those who are truly a danger to America. And we should give the rest a chance to earn legal status.
There you go. There you go. Legal status, that would be voting. This is what they've always wanted. This is what they're doing. So I have a question for little Dick Durbin of the land of Lincoln. Now it's the land of the little Dick Durbin. Tell us, little Dick Durbin, where does this end? You know, it's been my view, if you really listen to pukes like him, why even have a system where we pretend that we have an immigration system? Why don't we just confer citizenship on every foreigner in the world? You don't need to struggle your way, come to the United States, secrete yourself across the border. You don't need to pay the drug cartels and the coyotes and the rest. We gave you apps. Why not just give citizenship out? Doesn't matter where you live, what corner of the world. It doesn't matter what continent. Doesn't matter if you're friend or foe, you're criminal or terrorist. Doesn't matter. And now little Dick Durbin of Illinois says we need to sort out of these 21 million people or more who've come into the country, who's good and who's bad. Like they're all going to raise their hand from communist China. Like they're all going to raise their hand from Iran. Like they're all going to raise their hand and say, hey, I never did anything. And then we'll contact communist China. Who put them here in the first place? Do you have any records on them? No. Who are you talking about? Then Iran, who we have no relationship. Maybe we'll have to go through Russia, who we have no relationship with, really. And can you vet these people? No. So when a jerk like this says, we need to get the bad ones out, but the others should be able to stay. Let me ask you something, little Dick Durbin of Illinois. Let me ask you. Are the jihadists from Students for Justice in Palestine, do they get to stay or leave? Which is it? I'm just curious where he stands. Your administration, you Democrats, let in murderers and rapists. Your administration and you Democrats, all-time high. Children missing. Don't split up families, they tell us. Don't split up families. 1/3 of a million kids are missing. They don't know where they are. They split up families. Furthermore, they don't even believe in families. They're abortion fanatics. So I don't want to hear about families from these jerks. They don't believe in parental control over their children in the schools. They're abortion fanatics. They lost over 300,000 unaccompanied minors in their administration. You got kids being sold into pornography, labor slavery. You got women being sold into pornography, rape, labor slavery. And they're worried about families, don't you know? Republicans need to be able to expose these people. They need to be able to confront them. They need to be able to speak in plain English and explain to the American people. But he wasn't done. Cut 6, go.
The reality is that Congress, for almost 40 years, has failed to fix our broken immigration system.
No. Hey, jerk. We have actually exquisite immigration laws. The laws aren't broken. You're broken. Your party's broken. The rhinos, quite frankly, under Bush. Broken. They don't want to enforce our immigration laws, so they say, for 40 years, and then we tried bipartisan legislation. Follow the law. The laws are good. They have sanctions. They have requirements. That's why Joe Biden violated the laws and issued his own executive orders like a dictator, like a mobster, like preemptive pardons. I shall return.
Mark Levin.
They say free, but what they really mean is see the fine print. There's no shortage of ads from the big wireless carriers offering the latest iPhone for free. But look deeper. You'll realize to qualify, you need to trade in your phone valued at $1,000. You need to be on the $100 a month unlimited plan and pay the $35 activation fee. That's a lot of money for a free phone, don't you think? Well, don't fall for it. Pure Talk, my cell phone company, has a better option. Get a brand new iPhone 14, which has all the bells and whistles you need, plus get unlimited talk, text, 15 gigs of data, and mobile hotspot, all for $50 a month. How about that? Half the price of the big guys, and you get a new iPhone powered by America's most dependable 5G network. Do this. Go to puretalk.com/Levin today. Switching is easy. Plus, when you go to puretalk.com/Levin, you'll get an additional 50% off your first month. Pure Talk, America's wireless company. Let's leave on a high note with our buddy Ted Cruz at this same hearing on mass deportation, which the Democrats don't want because they view this as a mass deportation of future Democrats and the monopoly control by their party of the United States. They don't stand for families. Show me anywhere that they stand for families. Never, and certainly not now. Cut 8, go.
But what resident of what blue state says, America's better off with 20,000 rapists being released into this country? How many FBI agents? 105 one of these criminals and deport them. And as the human tragedies. But what resident of what blue state says, America's better off with 20,000 rapists being released into this country? 105,146 have been convicted of assault. I would ask my Democrat colleagues if they were here, why the hell today does the Biden administration not go and arrest every one of these criminals and deport them? What rational world says America's better off with more criminals?
Because, Ted, they still vote. If they can get them citizenship, they'll vote. Murderers, rapists, whatever. It's the same party that has Bernie Sanders in there saying that people in prison, I'm not talking about people who've been convicted of felons, done their time and left, and have a right to vote in some state. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about people in prison. He was asked, what about mass murderers and so forth? Should they have a right to vote? He said, yes. Yes. Rapists? Yes. Folks, we need to understand what we're dealing with here. They're evil. They're evil. It's not a normal political party. It's an ideological, extremist, radical movement. That's what they are. That's what it is. That's why the border's open, to empower them. They don't give a damn what's going on our streets. Undermine the cops. criminals out the back door, some out the front door, and import them because we don't have enough.
He's here. Now, broadcasting from the underground command post, deep in the bowels of a hidden bunker, somewhere under the brick and steel of a nondescript building, we've once again made contact with our leader, Mark Levin.
Hello, America. Mark Levin here. Our number, 877-381-3811. 877. Anyway, Kimberly Guilfoyle has been nominated to serve as U.S. Ambassador to Greece. I like her a lot. She's smart. She's articulate. She's tough. I hope things are going okay there. I don't know. But I got to thinking, Mr. Producer. Bermuda. Turns out we don't have an ambassador to Bermuda because Bermuda's all important. Don't you think, Rich? I don't know why exactly. But it's a beautiful place. Very small. But it's out there off the East Coast, off of, I guess, North Carolina. Gets whacked with, hurricanes, tough weather. But it's there. It used to be British. You can see the British influence, which is typically quite good on some of its past colonies, even though Britain was quite brutal. But why get into that? Anyway, it's still a key place, logistically. But I'm thinking to myself, I like wearing short pants, Mr. Producer. I do. What's better than Bermuda shorts? Now, they're a little long. They go below the knee, They're kind of grandpa looking. But nonetheless, if everybody's wearing them, and they are over there, I've been there, it's beautiful. Now, I don't play golf, which is a problem because, I think 70% of the island is made up of golf courses. But so what? I know how to sit on a bench and stare at the ocean. I love doing that. Love it. So I'm thinking maybe I should give POTUS a call and ask him. Like I said, I don't have an ambassador. They have Consul General. Sounds even better, doesn't it? What are you? I'm Consul General, dagnabbit. Nonetheless, maybe I should go there. What do you think of that, Mr. Producer?
I like it, but Democrats will approve you just to get you out of the country.
They'll approve me to get me out of the... That's a great point.
You'll definitely get approved.
I'll probably 100-0 in the Senate, wouldn't you guess? Get rid of that guy. Send him to Bermuda. Preferably the Bermuda Triangle. I can hear them now. Because I couldn't get voted janitor. The national head of the Janitors Association. I couldn't get voted that if it came to the Senate because the Democrats hate me and half the Republicans hate me. Feelings mutual, by the way. But you can dream, can't you? I'd probably get bored stiff there after about 27 days. The hell would I do? I don't golf. I can't. Used to golf a little bit, but good Lord. I'm not into sailboats. I can eat fish now and then, but it has to be kind of a white fish, like grouper or a really nice whatever. But I mostly eat meat. Now, they have meat there. They have to ship most of it in. They have to ship everything in, quite frankly. Probably even the golf balls. But nonetheless, I don't know. I don't think my wife would agree to it. Maybe she would. Maybe we could do it for like a year and a half. We'd have to give all this up, of course. But I do it for the country because I'm a great patriot. I'm prepared to serve in Bermuda. Now, the Democrat Party has really never shaken off its Confederate roots. See, it doesn't believe in the 10th Amendment and federalism. The 10th Amendment and federalism in your Bill of Rights and our Constitution basically talks about who is generally in charge of what. So we have the Constitution, which provides really fairly significant detail for a governing document. Separation of powers, the different branches that they've created, what those powers may be, and then anything we haven't conferred on this new national government belongs to the states. But one of the things they conferred on this new national government was really immigration. Now, it's one thing to be Texas during the Biden regime, the lawless mobster regime, the Biden regime, and to say, the governor of Texas, Abbott. You know, we need to have Abbott on this show. I like this guy. Right? Abbott. And so Abbott was actually trying to enforce federal immigration law, whereas these Democrats are trying to destroy federal immigration. Hey, we're a sanctuary city. We're a sanctuary state. Can you imagine the Confederacy saying, we're a sanctuary state. We believe in slavery. I mean, we're talking semantics now, right? So you have these Democrat governors say, we're a sanctuary state, which means we're not going to enforce our immigration laws, which means what? The American citizen, to the detriment of the American citizen, we're going to embrace illegal immigrants. That's what we're going to do. Now, they don't have the power to do it. They don't have the authority to do it. They don't have the authority and the power to make these proclamations. We're sanctuary. Hey, screw off, you jerk. You're sanctuary. You're not allowed to be a sanctuary from federal law that is the supreme law when it comes to immigration. You don't have sanctuary power any more than you had the power of the Confederacy to claim that black people weren't citizens and that you weren't going to comply with what the national view was. Okay? So the Democrat Party once again demonstrates its embrace of a Confederate ideology, not as it applies to slavery. You understand my point. The media won't. They're too stupid. Low IQ. Unhinged, obsessed, and they're part of the problem. And if I hear one more time, we're going to divide families. No, you did, Democrats. There's 335,000 missing young children. You divided those families. There's women missing, sold into slavery. You did that. You Confederates did that. So from now on, ladies and gentlemen, we should be calling these blue state Democrats Confederates. Confederates! You'll see a report on this, Mr. Producer, in about 5 days saying, MAGA says Confederates. I can't help it. They don't like me. What can I say? MAGA says Pete Hegseth needs to be approved. Yes, MAGA does. And it started right here behind this microphone and on Blaze and on Life, Liberty, and Levin. Oh, it's so painful. How can we say this? So we have people like Governor Jared Polis, who's a lightweight. He is a Brian Stelter lookalike. All these stupid little bald guys are Brian Stelter lookalikes. But you're bald, Mark. I'm not stupid and I'm not little. There is a difference. Cut 10, go.
Let's start with the common ground. Just like some Americans commit crimes, there are some immigrants that have committed crimes. If they're going to provide additional assistance from the federal government to track down...
Hello? How do you know what immigrants have committed crimes? We know some of them have, but we have gotaways who are unknown, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of. So tell us, Jared. May I call you Jared? Tell us, Jared, how do we determine who these other criminals are? He has no answer. Go ahead.
And deport people who've committed crimes in our country. We are happy to cooperate, help however we can.
You don't understand. It's not an option, pal. We're happy to cooperate. No, you're going to cooperate, or your federal funds are going to be slashed, and whatever other constitutional legal acts can be taken against you and your government must be. Because we cannot allow you Confederates. Hello! We cannot allow you Confederates to get away with this. As I sneeze to the truth. Go ahead.
People who've been following our state laws, that have jobs or are paying taxes.
Doesn't matter if people have been following your state laws and have jobs. Is that what the Constitution says? No, we have immigration laws, Jared. And they violated our immigration laws, Jared. At least his name isn't Little Dick Durbin. You know what I mean, Mr. Producer? Jared. Wasn't there a Jared with Subway, the guy with the commercials? Jared? Whatever happened to that big lug? Oh, he did all that crap? He's in prison? Oops. You may want to change your name, Jared. Go ahead.
the rules, of course, we want to do what we can to protect them, as well as emphasize their importance to our economy.
Yes,
if you start deporting...
yes. So in other words, you're already saying that you are a Confederate, you will defy federal immigration law, and you're saying, so come and get me. And so they'll need to do exactly that. And so we have a governor who has now announced, much like they did in the old Confederacy, that he will not comply with the law of the land, that he will break from the Union, that he will go out on his own, and that he will determine what rules are to be followed and what rules are not to be followed. In fact, he said, we will use our resources and so forth to protect these people. And so we cannot allow Confederates like Jared Polis. By the way, do you know he started the one of the flower companies? He made a fortune. The online flower, I think it was 1-800-Flowers. If I'm wrong about that, I apologize. But it's one of those. He did. I'll be right back.
Mark Levin.
We need an update from the subcommittee, the Oversight Subcommittee investigating January 6th, what the future looks like, the destruction of records and so forth, with our friend Representative Barry Loudermilk of Georgia's 11th. Representative Loudermilk, how are you, sir?
Mark, I'm doing wonderful. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Great. Could have been worse, Congressman. Doing great.
A new day's coming.
A new day's coming, man. Amen. By the way, what towns are in your district? I've been meaning to ask this. Major towns.
Yeah, I did have part of Atlanta, but with redistricting, I moved north. I have Marietta, Cartersville, Jasper. It's a good mix. I do have the Atlanta Braves Stadium, so
well, that helps.
That's a plus. Yeah,
especially when I'm a Phillies fan. But that's a whole other story, Congressman. But nonetheless, tell us what's going on and how you see under the Republican majority, the committee proceeding. I mean, this stuff about destroying records, obviously Liz Cheney's very nervous about this.
Obviously, I mean, you wouldn't be asking for, or the president wouldn't be suggesting giving pardons to all these people if they were totally innocent. I mean,
true.
And so they did destroy records. I mean, it's there. Yes, we did have some. Yes, they sent some away to presumably keep us from getting access to them. But because of the diligent work of my incredible team, we were able to get those. But there are documents that were destroyed. And predominantly is every video of every interview, deposition, and transcribed interview that they did under oath. Those are gone. And those are very important. And so they cannot say they didn't delete records. They may not be deleted, but I don't know where they are, and no one seems to know where they are.
Do you think you'll get help? I mean, I think you will from the Department of Justice under Attorney General Pam Bondi. I mean, here's the problem. I know the speech and debate clause, members of Congress are immune. People are bringing that up. But they're not immune if records are being destroyed that actually could help somebody, like a co-defendant in this January 6th case and so forth, and they knew it could help somebody, but they wanted to destroy records so they could withhold this information or this evidence for this person to use in their defense. Isn't that important?
It is very important, and that's where I think it could be criminal. Okay, definitely violation of House rules because these are House documents. They're property of the United States government, specifically the House of Representatives. The Select Committee worked for the House and fell under House rules, and all of that information was supposed to be maintained. But the biggest issue with these videos, and the reason I think they destroyed them, is because of what they did to Stefan Passantino, who was Cassidy Hutchinson's original attorney. You see, he was representing Cassidy, and then she starts back-channeling, as we recently revealed, that she was back-channel communications directly with Liz Cheney without her attorney knowing it, which is a major violation. But after they started talking, she needed to change her story because, obviously, she wasn't giving Liz what Liz really wanted, and they had to have a reason why she changed her story. Otherwise, she perjured herself either in the beginning or the end. So they laid it on the shoulders of Stefan Passantino, basically claiming he told her to lie. The proof that he never did was in the video of their third transcribed interview, their third deposition. And the way we even found out they existed is he called me in February of 2023 and said, look, I just need to get this video because I can clear myself, because what Liz Cheney did is not only did she accuse him of lying, she got 30-something other attorneys and judges to file ethics violations with the bar to try to have him disbarred in Georgia and D.C. Now, he's been totally exonerated, and the information that we have recently uncovered, that there was the back channel communication going on, and this isn't just we're suspecting it. I have the text, and we released the text to the media where Liz Cheney and Cassidy Hutchinson were talking to each other. And so this is why I think they got rid of all the videotapes. Because of that, they had to pin this on the shoulders of Stefan, and they literally tried to ruin his life and his career over this. This is how ruthless these people are. And I do believe they need to be held accountable. And you're right. I think the Department of Justice, the reason I say it's a new day is whether this investigation continues on now. I'm trying to meet with the speaker to discuss what level we need to continue doing and how we're going to do it. I think we need a select committee at this point to dig a little deeper, especially into the security failures here at the Capitol and some issues going on with some of the Capitol Police and other organizations here.
Well, let me ask you this, Congressman, before we run out of time. A select committee, would it have independent subpoena power to have somebody like Liz Cheney or even current members who are on this committee testify?
Yes.
Somebody knows what the hell happened to these records. They know what happened to these records. Somebody ordered them destroyed. Go ahead.
And who is that? And that's exactly right. That's why I think we do need to take it to the next level. Now, Pam Bondi and the DOJ, they can take where we've uncovered the FBI lied to Congress about the investigations of pipe bomb. They gave false testimony. You can dig into that now. I had no faith that the current Department of Justice would do it. But some of these other things that we were still pursuing, now the executive branch can dig into those. But these things, like we're talking about right now, these missing videos, the security failures at the Capitol, these are things that legislative branch, it has to be done with Congress. And, a select committee would be the best tool that we could have where we could subpoena, we could bring people in and get some more answers and hold people accountable.
Yeah, because this January 6th thing, they've been rewriting the history. They've been lying about it. This committee, they even recommended all these criminal charges against Donald Trump. The corrupt nature of this committee really does need to be thoroughly and completely exposed. And video. There is no reason to destroy all that video unless it's a cover-up. Can you think of any other reason to destroy the video or all the rest of the material?
Because there's probably more there that exposes their narrative, which was they determined what the report was going to be in the beginning. They just wanted the evidence to match it. That's why they got rid of evidence that didn't support their narrative. And I think there's a lot more there to be learned.
You're a good man. We thank you for what you're doing. We hope you'll be able to continue to do it. If I have anything to say about it, that's Representative Barry Loudermilk. Take care of yourself, brother. And thanks again for what you're doing.
God bless.
God bless. We'll be right back.
Mark the Pen, the thunder on the right. Call in now, 877-381-3811.
You know, ladies and gentlemen, if somebody wants to turn a page, and they want to turn a page in a way that moves them away from the radical kook hard left, isn't that something that's at least a bit of a positive, Mr. Producer? I really believe this, America. So if Joe Scarborough and Mika visit Donald Trump, it's been going on for now 3 weeks. They're just trashing the hell out of them for visiting Donald Trump. Now, you don't have to agree with things they've said subsequent to that, but they have kind of moderated since. And you may want to come up with reasons why they have and so forth and so on. That's not what I'm talking about. It seems to me, if somebody wants to reach out to Trump or the conservatives or the MAGA or whatever, we got to let them at least try. Now, I'm no special pleader for the Scarboroughs. I don't talk to Joe and Mika. And in fact, I don't really talk to too many people. But that's beside the point. You understand my point, ladies and gentlemen. So if somebody, whoever it is, Ernie Grabotsky, is reaching out to Trump because they want to open up an association, a discussion, or something like that, I think that should be encouraged. Again, it doesn't mean that things have changed for all time. I'm not talking about that. But the left doesn't tolerate it, you see. If you step out of line, man, you got to be destroyed. If you don't follow their agenda, their ideology right to the T, oh, yeah, man, something wrong with you. Mitch McConnell fell down today. Did you read this, Mr. Producer? Where was he? In a luncheon, the Republican luncheon or something? On Capitol Hill, he actually needed medical care? Here's the thing. I don't wish that on anybody. Well, on the terrorists I do, but I don't wish it on him, that's for sure. I really don't. And falling down is a very serious thing. But there's a point at which you reach a certain age or maybe a physical feebleness or something like that, you really should retire from Congress. This isn't a personal attack. It's not directed at him. It's generally. Generally. Enough already. It's time to go home. It's time to enjoy your golden years. Time to be with your family. Say the same thing with Pelosi. Now, she hasn't fallen down, but nobody has had more facelifts than her, I guarantee it. They've been tying that skin behind her head. One little twirl, the whole thing's going to come loose. Don't you think, Mr. Producer? Or look at this guy, Bernie Sanders. You know, even the old Soviet Union, when the Secretary General reached a certain age, you know, they would tend to die in office. But if not, they give him the old yank. That guy deserves to be yanked. Hey, shut up, you old man. You big dummy. In my humble opinion. Look at this guy Schumer. He's almost 80. Walking around davening all the time, davening. He's a real hunchback. He's got the whole thing going on there. Guy's never served 15 seconds in the private sector. Goes from law school to the state assembly, to Congress, then to the Senate. This guy knows nothing, and yet he pretends he knows everything. It's time to send him out with the cows, too, in my humble opinion. It doesn't mean Young is smarter. Doesn't mean Young is better. Doesn't mean Young is wiser. Certainly not. But these people, that's enough. You served your country, and I don't know if it's our country, but you served some country. It's time to go. It's time to go. It's like Robert Byrd, basically, right to the end. Dianne Feinstein, right to the end. It's like we have to watch this. Strom Thurmond even, right to the end, all the way to the end. That's enough. It's enough. One person who I really enjoyed listening to and watching is Senator John Kennedy from Louisiana. I bumped into him in an airport a couple of years back. I think it was the Palm Beach airport. Wherever it was, doesn't matter. Couldn't have been nicer, was effusive. Really like him. Apparently, he never wants to come on my TV or radio show. I don't understand these guys. I really don't. I really don't. That said, he was really good at this Senate Judiciary Committee hearing on mass deportation. They had mass importation, but you can't have mass deportation. So he's going at it with a General Randy Manner, who is a real leftist, a real Trump hater. He's a general. And he's in a very important position. Cut 11, go.
On October 14th of this year, you went on CNN. I want to read you what you said. Make sure I'm accurate. Here's what you said. President Trump is not like any sane leader. I'm very proud of General Milley for saying that President Trump is a total fascist. To Bob Woodward, If he, as chairman of the Joint Chiefs, is calling the president a fascist, I'm so proud of him for breaking that barrier. The challenge is because most MAGA Republicans, they don't understand what fascism is. The reality is that they are, in fact, fascists themselves. Did I read that accurately?
Senator, I am happy to discuss my personal perspectives with you separately at any time. That's not the purpose of the hearing today.
Did I read that accurately?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah. You think you're smarter than the American people, don't you?
Absolutely not, Senator. I am here to discuss the use of the military as part of this mass deportation.
You think you're more virtuous than the American people, don't you, General?
Senator, I am insulted by your comment.
He's insulted. I'm insulted by your comments. But we're all fascists, you see. And, of course, Kennedy's point is this guy has no business being in the position he's in. None. Have you ever seen generals talk like this, America? This guy, Milley, you know, now he's left office. He thinks he can go at it. That's not the way it's supposed to work. The fact is he should have been court-martialed while he was in office. And I mean that very sincerely. You withhold information from the commander-in-chief while you're talking to the head of the Communist Party military, and you're letting them know that you're not going to let Trump do anything rash or anything like that. I mean, if that's not insubordination, I don't know what the hell is. And this guy, Milley, he comes off like a cocky bastard, too. There's nothing to be cocky about, Milley. You're probably one of the dumbest heads of the Joint Chiefs ever. And a complete embarrassment for what you did in Afghanistan. And any effort to rewrite your role won't fly, because we all saw it in real time. Our eyes were wide open. Our eyes were wide open. You got this Benny Thompson, who was the chairman of this January 6th Stalinist show trial committee. And he wants you to know we didn't do anything that violated the law just because we destroyed a mega amount of information, including you just heard Congressman Loudermilk talk about all the videos are gone. He's the chairman. Did he order it? Will he answer under oath, under penalty of perjury? Will he answer to a grand jury? I'm just curious. But don't worry. He's on Capitol Hill today. Cut 13, go.
Over the weekend, former President Trump in an interview suggested that January 6 members should be jailed. Do you have any reaction to that? And do you think that a preemptive pardon is necessary?
Now, let's wait a minute there, because let us remember that this jerk, Benny Hill Thompson, he and his committee recommended that Donald Trump should be prosecuted and jailed. Got it? That's what they recommended. But now Donald Trump recommends, hey, maybe they should be jailed. They're the ones that destroyed all the information, and there could be information in there that's useful to one of the defendants. It may have been useful to me. Why else did they destroy it? Well, what did Benny Hill Thompson have to say? Go.
Well, I'll take it one at a time, okay? First of all, former to-be President Trump is absolutely wrong. There's nothing we did as a January 6th select.
What'd you do with all the material, genius? What'd you do with it? What'd you do? I'm just curious. Criminal, illegal, doesn't matter. What did you do with it? Who ordered it? You're the chairman of the committee. You had to have some role in ordering the destruction of the video. Why did you order the destruction of the video? You should be under oath. You should be questioned. And if you won't go, you should be subpoenaed. I really believe this. Well, Mark, that'll tear Congress apart. It's already torn apart. But we need to get to the bottom of this. This guy was the chairman of a committee that destroyed massive amounts of evidence, including all the video, according to Loudermilk, prior to the Republicans taking over the Congress, the House. A complete cover-up. Complete cover-up. Go ahead.
That violates the law. Just because you disagree with the work of the committee.
All right, you're boring, you're obnoxious, you're a radical kook, and you're not going to answer the question, are you? I'll be right back.
Mark Levin.
Shout out to my buddy Sid, does the morning show on WABC. He's nobody like him. He's absolutely fantastic. I love the guy, really do. He's a patriot. He's a warrior, and he does a tremendous radio show. So it's always an honor to be on his program. We'll bring him back here too. Of course, we want the whole world to be exposed to Sid. Well, you know what I mean. Really, really good man. Let's take a call, shall we? Let's see. Let's go to Todd, Orlando, Florida, XM Satellite. Todd, go right ahead, please.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for taking my call. I want to talk to you quickly, if I can, about the pardoning power of the president.
Yes.
I heard Jonathan Turley speak and said that Turley said the only way the pardon can happen is if there was a crime committed against the United States. But I don't hear many people talking about that.
That's not correct. We already know in the case of Nixon, a pardon was provided to him, and he actually hadn't committed any crime, and it was a prospective pardon. Are you saying the United States versus a state, perhaps?
Maybe.
Yeah, I think that's what he means, and he and I disagree strongly on this. My view is, at least as applies to the president, uniquely the president, not to others. If you have a person like Bragg or an attorney general of a state who has brought charges against, in some process of the trial, against a sitting president, or now somebody who's elected and will soon be president, that has the same effect as interfering with the ability of a president to function that a federal charge would. And the Department of Justice's position there, backed up by the Supreme Court, is you cannot indict a sitting president for his official actions. And, in fact, the problem with a state or locality indicting an individual who becomes president or a sitting president is they would have 50 opportunities in 50 states and 15,000 opportunities with DAs and assistant DAs, which would completely destroy the entire constitutional construct. And when you have radicals like Bragg or Letitia James or Elissa Willis and her Fanny and all the rest, this is a huge problem. Thank you for your call. We salute our armed forces, police officers, firefighters, emergency personnel, our truckers, the men and women in Ukraine, the men and women in Israel. We have your back. And you, red-blooded Americans who saved the world. I'll see you tomorrow.